everyone, and welcome to Soul Wanderings. Tonight, we're going to explore one of humanity's oldest fascinations sacred portals, sacred places, and I'm so excited to talk about it. It's going to be so much fun, as always. But first things first. Hi, Natalie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
Good, good.
Yeah, life is going all right. Although I was saying to you earlier, I have to make a comment. You know, it comes up a lot. I'm hearing it a lot that the sun is very different these days. The
Mm,
sun has an intensity that I don't remember. I don't
ever
remember
feel?
it being that way.
Yeah, it's
That's
much
of late.
different than it used to be.
Yeah,
Feels different heat wise, energetically,
yeah.
all the things.
Yeah, and I just went drove for a little bit, and I was like, "Wow, that I feel like different."
Yeah, it is a lot different. For sure. Everyone, hello, welcome. I see you guys popping into the chat rooms. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. You can learn more about Natalie and myself at soulwanderings.com. I don't know why our names aren't up on the screens like usual.
Hmm.
The things that take place. Oh,
Oh, it was just blurred by the magic. Look at you manifest.
I'm
You
so
like
powerful. What can I say?
wiggle your nose a little.
But yes, we get to do this fun show every week, mostly every week. As a reminder, we will not be here next week because I'm going to be hanging out with my grands, both of those cute little babies, and we'll be back the following week. But tonight was going to be a fun show. And sometimes when you're like, there's so much we could talk about, because we could really deep dive into this topic and talk about all the places and all of the things. And we have an hour show. So, our shows are pretty summarized when it comes to our topics. Hopefully, you guys still get some good little bites from what we share because there's just so much that can take place. Um, but yeah, the show, we've been doing it for a while. Please visit our website, check that out. During the day, vibes, mind, body, spirit is where we hang out and help other people in their spiritual journeys, their healing journeys, grief, trauma, mental health, body, all that good stuff. If you want to learn more about what we do, you can visit
Calm.
vibesnow.com. Yeah, we love our I don't even want to call it a job. Like, we love our jobs. It's not a
No.
job.
Yeah,
We
we
love
love
our
our.
calling. We love what we do. We're so grateful to have the opportunity to do it. So, those of you who are along for the journey with us, thank you. Today is the very last day to vote for Vibes. If you think that we are the best of our northern state, we have won second and first place the last few years. We'd love the opportunity to have you vote for us. We're under health and beauty and best wellness center. Today's the very last day. So if you feel so inclined, if we've supported you in some way, this is a great way to support us because it's recognition. It helps in our community so people know what we're up to and what we're doing out in the world. If you've already voted, thank you. Super grateful. It's never about the placement. It's just about getting the word out there that we're here to support you. So whatever that looks like, we're so grateful. You can do that. The link is here on the screen, standard.net/best. All right. So tonight, it's going to be good. You guys wanted us to talk about sacred spaces and energy portals, and across every continent and every culture, even religions, people have talked about these places. They've identified mountains and caves and temples and stones and forests and all these other places that just feel extraordinary or extraordinary of some way, they just feel a little different, right? They have a different energy. And sometimes people will describe them as energy portals. Sometimes people will describe them as sacred places to go to for prayer, for healing, or deep personal transformation. It looks different for everybody. But the question is, what makes a place feel sacred? Is it the land itself? Some people consider the land to be special and they've honored it for generations and generations. Or is it our state of mind? Is it traditions? Is it generational stories? Or maybe it's a combination of all of it. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Curious, curiosity about all of it, right? And
Right.
a deep respect for these places because people really do go through deep transformations. They've reported all kinds of miraculous things taking place in these places. But we're open to talk about it spiritually, personally, all of that. We just get into it. So that's what we're going to do. So, Natalie, what would you consider a sacred space?
Well, as you were,
Place, I should say.
um, so there was a couple that came up. There's a few different things that have come up as I've thinking about the show. But while you were talking, I also was thinking that sometimes a space is created as a portal because something significant happened there. And the place where the Twin Towers was, I thought of as you were talking, that
Hmm.
that became a different sort of space after those buildings fell, and then they create a memorial there. But
Mhm.
I thought, I bet you that has portal energy now, different than it did before. And I haven't visited a lot of different places. I did go where to the place where the Oklahoma bombing was,
Mm.
at the federal building, and where they had built, they had a bunch of empty chairs set up in that memorial. And there was a feeling there when something significant happens in a
Mhm.
place. So places like that that could, and some places that are considered portals, we may not even understand exactly what happened because there's so much of our history that gets blurred over time. If it
Mhm.
wasn't recorded or wasn't recorded accurately,
Right.
which
Or,
probably
it's
happens.
like the game of telephone.
It's
The
right.
story is one way and ends up completely different.
Right. So I really do believe that some of the portal energy is because something happened there. And I also thought about when we're talking about places, I love the story of the Pied Piper. The Pied Piper, that this town hired this piper because they were overrun with rats and the or snakes. The story's told both ways, and the town's overrun, and so they hired the piper because he could get rid of the rats or the snakes.
I don't
But I
know if
remember,
I've ever heard the story before.
this is really fascinating. I bought an old version of it, an antique book with this story. So because this has a portal in the story, I thought about this and I wanted to share that because sometimes our mythologies actually have the different answers. So, and I have an affinity for Scotland and Ireland, and there's a lot of lore of where there would be doorways in the hillside or in the mountain. And so the Pied Piper, this town hired the piper to get rid of the rats because they were tired of it. They went to their mayor, their town leader, and so the Pied Piper and said, "This is how much it's going to cost." And so they're like, "It's okay, we'll pay that price." And so the Pied Piper went and used his pipe and ushered all the rats into the sea, and so they were gone, cleared out the town. And then he went back to the city council and the leadership and said, "Okay, here's my wage." And they're like, "Well, we're not going to pay you." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to come back in a week, and if you don't pay my price, then I will take all your children." This is the way the story goes. And so they he came back in a week and they didn't pay. And so he did his little flute, his little pipe, and all the children just got caught up in that music, and he lured them all away, and they went, and there was a doorway that opened and it went into the mountain, and he took all the children except for the ones that weren't able-bodied to move around. This is part of that, like the paid the piper, but there was also this
Okay.
understanding like they could just go from here to another place and then they weren't able to be found again. It's like a profound story of a portal. And I thought about that of like sometimes you go into an entrance or an opening and end up somewhere else.
Mm,
So that's the things that I like think about portals. Portals as openings that go from one place or maybe into another dimension, wormholes, those different types of things that I've heard stories about.
yeah. So that's crazy. I heard references to Pay the Piper, Pied Piper. I just thought it was, I don't know. I just thought it was like a kid's fairy tale or something. I don't know. I never really asked, but
It's
that's a
one of
cool story.
and there's a lot of fairy tales or mythologies that have a dark, or there's like if you don't do the things you're gonna pay the piper, and that
Mhm.
story has quite an edge to it. But there's also a
Definitely.
portal where you'd be like whisk things away.
Right, right. And I've been to places I don't know if they're like known for energy portals, but I can feel a lot of times um the energy I'm not sure what a portal would actually feel like, but it feels like something it would be like that. However, I did go to Garden of the Gods. M- My son lives around that area in Colorado, and it was really busy. We couldn't even find a parking spot. So we weren't able to like get out and walk around, but just even driving through it was unreal. Like it just had like this feeling like it was like I wouldn't say electricity on the skin, but there was like a aliveness. Does that make like things just
Hmm.
felt very alive? And I didn't even know that it was considered on the list of energy vortexes or areas that have claimed to have portals. I had no idea until afterwards when I was doing research on it. But there are places like that. Sedona, people talk about that right away. It's probably one of the most popular hotspots for places like that. I've never been called to go to Sedona, um, but there's a lot of people who have and do, and even go on a regular basis and really um, use that energy for their healing and things like that. But like we have a good friend who regularly goes to like Mount Shasta.
Hmm.
Mount Shasta is one of those places. Stonehenge, and where you were like, I love the history of Scotland and
Hmm.
Ireland, and I love the history of Stonehenge. And if people are familiar with the books, The Outlander, I believe they made him into a movie series. There's a lot of energy portal, vortex, going time traveling, things like that that take place. And when you listen to books and like stories and books and movies, and there's all of these references, just like anything else, I always find it fascinating because I'm like, where is the truth in this? Where did this come from? Because there's truth in all things. It originates from somewhere. And can we really time travel in these places? People have reported doing it or missing time, I should
Missing.
say. Not necessarily like they have a recollection of like I was in this dimension and then I was in this or timeline or whatever. But people have reported timeline jumping even in these really historical places. Um, they're they're placed all over the world. Um, like if you think of like ley lines, right?
Hmm.
There's ley lines, people really will follow those and like the pyramids. The pyramids are known to be energy portals or very sacred energetic spaces.
So I visited the redwood forest many, 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 many
Mm.
years ago, and there was a tree that you could drive through that's cut out that you could drive through
Oh
this
yeah, I've seen
tree.
pictures.
That's one of those things I hadn't thought about that before. I haven't thought about that in years, but that is so sacred because those trees have been there for centuries. It's there's definitely those trees that have stood the test of time. I think that's also something that would be in those places. And in we have the red desert and so many slot canyons and things in Utah that a lot of times you go hiking to these places and like time is different in a lot of these different places. I
Mhm.
remember going also to, I think it was Virginia City, that's outside of Reno, and there's a tourist attraction, and there's this place that you walk in, and everything looks crooked, but it's level. So there's vortex energy that shows up like that.
Well, we even have something like that in Salt Lake, Gravity Hill. Have you ever
Oh, I
been
have not.
up above the Capitol? My mom used to take us there just for fun because I grew up in Salt Lake, so it's like right there. But you would literally be pulled up the hill.
That's wild.
Yeah, in your car. Yeah, it is. Things like that happen, right? And we can't explain them. It's like they're beyond explanation. And that's what I think is so fascinating because it's just like anything that is energetic. Everything is energy, but anything that's energetic, scientists want to, explain away. And there are just some things that take place. There's some energies or places or spaces that there's just no explanation,
Mm-mm.
but you cannot deny what is taking place there. I think it's really fascinating. I want to go to all of them or a lot of them, I should say, just to feel the energy and also people. I don't want to be if it's a considered a tourist site and a lot of people are there, I'm like, eh, no, I'm good. I'm good. So it's like taking me away from it. But if you just go into your local, less people-y areas around where you are, so like for us, we have these big, huge, beautiful mountains, and you can get lost in places like that. You can trample along some kind of path that very few, if any at all, have been on. And there is some energy that you feel when you go to those places.
Right.
Even just the rivers on the mountain have this pull, and you could get totally lost in time just by sitting near the river and watching the water flow. And I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if that's sacred place, if that's an energy vortex, or if that's just the power, energetic power of water. There's so many ways that we can look at it, but it doesn't negate the fact that these places are alive and they have a lot of mystery around them. And I really appreciate it when people go to these places or share stories of these places. Even without knowing each other, you start seeing the similarities that take place. It's just like with paranormal activity, right? When someone goes into a space and they don't know each other and they're sharing these stories, and their stories are very similar. Like, how do you explain that away? You don't. There's no answer.
But we don't explain it away. We just accepting that there is something extraordinary
Right.
that
And
happening for people.
exactly. And how or why do sacred places like this affect us? That's the cool thing. Like, if you think about like the environmental psychology, when you just go next to the river or up in the mountains or the
Mhm.
desert, wherever you go, just the calming effect of nature and what that does for you. And also, a lot of these places are very like religious, historically religious or spiritual spaces. So they've had a lot of ritual and intention taking place
Mhm.
in those spaces, or just even like the history or the collective memory of it all, or the cultural significance. Like every place has an energetic blueprint, and we've talked about this so many times. And I believe like those places that are so sacred or open up vortexes aren't just done naturally. There's something significant that has taken place in these areas that pull this energy or hold this energy, if you will. And it just so happens to allow someone to go deeper within themselves or be completely changed just miraculously, big personal transformation, especially in like I've witnessed through just the investigating that I've done, just like um, people who have reported like life changing moments just by sitting next to an energy vortex like in Sedona. We're close to Sedona, so a lot of people talk to us about their stories with Sedona, but I think it's just the possibility that slowing down makes us more receptive to the insight. And when we're going to those places, we're not distracted, right? And so
Right.
there's a different energy anyway. And that
Sure.
can take place not just in some sacred location, but also within ourselves. And I'm going to have you take over from here because I know you know a lot about that.
Well, I was thinking about some of across this whole globe, we've had people that have with magic, the magic that we would say with a K, and if you're in making incantations or spells, um, and creating an opening. I remember seeing this video, and they were like where an old church was, and
Mhm.
doorways are openings into a place, and you can cut the space with intention or spells or the rituals, and that will stay
Mm,
in an area, um, unless it's reworked, because that happens. So there was part of that that said, okay, so when a portal's an opening and a threshold, and you step across it and you enter into this other space. A lot of times when we're just going through life with our five senses, we're not seeing or paying attention and saying that rooms can be carved with just in space, and it doesn't have to be built with wood or brick or any of those things. There can be rooms that are separated off in an area, energetic rooms, and there can be barriers that are put there or openings that are cut into the space. And that would be when you step through that portal, you can enter into this space that has energy that's been structured to be that way. Magic actually has that ability to do those things, and it can be for the good or for the negative. And it'd be the opportunity to have a shift happen. So sometimes people can be caught up in a dark, or a dark just for the frame of reference, or negative shift can happen in people by entering different spaces. So the magic throughout the centuries, this is an old planet. This is a planet that has all kinds of aspects. I remember reading a book one time that was talking about, so there's lots and lots of stories. So this book was talking about Middle Earth, or the Hollow Earth, of where that's another portal thing. I don't have any it's just like, is someone coming in?
I swear I just heard someone talk right next to me. That was so bizarre. I was like, "Why is someone opening my door? I'm doing my show."
We're
Like it was that real.
because we're talking about portals.
Oh, carry on.
Well, that's one of those things. We've had some experiences in clearing space and keeping a space of like closing back doors. And it was an education for me throughout the years of working differently energetically. It wasn't my frame of reference before, but realizing there's little backdoor energies in spaces, especially if you come to in a space that someone else inhabited, and clearing the space and closing extra openings up.
Okay, not to interrupt you, Maria, you
Yes.
heard that from like on from our end? She said, "I heard something that sounded like tape being pulled up."
Oh,
Oh, geez. Okay, go ahead. Our little paranormal investigator, Maria.
she's like, I heard something.
She said I did. Yep. Okay. Okay. So I'm not tripping. Thank you.
You've got backup.
Thank you for the interruption, Natalie. Go ahead.
Well, um, hmm, pause for insight. Oh, okay, Genghis. I saw previews for that. I don't know. I don't, but I was slightly tempted to go see this Black Rooms movie, but I saw some previews and I thought that would just leave me probably with the heebie-jeebies. But that's interesting that you bring it up because I did see little previews on that. I'd see these little previews and I'm like, I don't know. Like you go through a portal and you get stuck somewhere. It's a thing about
Thanks, Maria. Thank you.
what if you go in through a portal of some sort and you can't get back out? Or I don't know. It's look, everybody is like,
Okay, everyone
okay.
is validating me. Thank you. That was wild. I'm going to go back and watch this.
And listen to see.
And I love Maria knows me so well.
Mm.
Um, Here's a
What?
question. Where
Yeah.
is your evidence everyone wants? Evidence for the hollow earth.
So the book that I was reading actually was talking about you have to go up north, and I think it was in northern Scandinavian countries. And there's people that are in those places where they say there's entrances to that have the evidence. So we have to go to the places that have the evidence to feel it or see it or observe it
Hmm.
to go to those places. So people, we can read a lot of things, but as far as really understanding that up in the north where the light is different, like the environment is really different. The book that I was reading was talking about up there and you go into these caves. So I haven't done a lot of exploration in caves, but if we do, a cave itself can be a portal because there can be there's these lava tubes where lava has flowed through, but we can enter in to as humans and walk through spaces that are a completely different world.
Hmm.
So, I mean, even if you talk about caves and underground structures, we do have hollow spaces in the earth. There's deep underground openings that just drop into God knows where. Like they have openings that just
The
opened up a month
ocean
or so ago in the ocean. And then,
and
like,
mountains with doorways for the ships to fly through. Come on, guys. There are things everywhere.
I love the stories of where the unidentified flying objects will just go through into the ocean, plunge into the ocean.
Right. Yep.
There's definitely, and then that's for each of us individually. And then that's a whole different world
Yeah, I
in
didn't
those
get to go
caves.
through Mammoth Cave, but I was in the area with that cute little Maria. And there is a vibe. There is this, she's not lying. I mean, I didn't go in the caves, but there is an energy there that is unexplainable.
It's we have to go there as individuals to experience it. We can read other people's stories, but truly to experience it is to go to different places and
Mhm.
open ourselves up and listen. That's right. Middle Earth.
Yes, Casey.
There's so
Bigfoot.
many things that
Yes,
are
I know he
possible.
lives there. Yeah, and that's what's so fun, right? Just like this or any other anomalous topic where we are like there's all of these stories and there's even evidence, you know, as much as we can receive, but we never know the full truth. And so we keep having these conversations, which
Mhm.
is really exciting because the possibilities are endless and everyone comes to it with a different perspective or a different experience, personal or investigative. Either way, I just think that um, awesome topic because just talking about this, I feel like even puts energy in these spaces and makes it more alive and more real.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think it's a fascinating topic, just like when we talk about anything else, like UAPs or ghosts and spirits. Yes, and my butterflies, chase butterflies with Maria. Um,
Oh, talk
but
about going through a portal.
yeah,
That's its
well,
own
the
sort of.
butterflies next to Maria are big as my hand. They're huge,
Oh, wow.
and I have big hands. Okay,
Ah.
they're they're big. They're big. I have alien hands, long fingers.
That's cute. We'd all know you're an alien.
I'm totally an alien. I get reminded all the time. I own it now, okay? But have you like I know so you do a lot of human design stuff, but we were having a conversation earlier and it made me wonder like could sacred places awaken something already within us? Could we actually be the sacred space or place or energy portal?
Oh, I believe there's all um, kinds of that ability. And with our discussion earlier, it definitely resonated with me because you talked about portals as openings, and with our and thoughts as energy, and the energy that we're doing. So wherever our attention goes, an energy is flowing towards another person, and really there's no distance between any one of us. But if we have an opening inside of ourselves, there's a connection point, and that also can open up, that there can be, they can come backwards towards, or not backwards, but they can come to us
Through
through that
us.
opening, that intentional opening by thinking about someone.
Right. Okay, so Natalie says, I was talking about, and you guys are probably confused. This conversation was before the show. We were having a whole other conversation organically about other things. And then this was what I felt into intuitively about, and it just so happened to be in alignment with the conversation we're having tonight.
Yeah, that understanding how um, we will open up access within ourselves, that would be a portal. Um, we talk about often how it's important to mind our thoughts and mind with intention our inner space,
Mhm.
because I know I had this that I had an experience when I was in my Vipassana retreat, of the inside space in me opening up, vast depth, that I would say would be access into deeper. I mean, it was just bottomless on the inside of me. And that's part of that awareness of saying there's a lot inside of us,
Mm.
even though it's hard to put into words, something like that, but understanding that the inner space can be like a building with rooms and hallways and layers and different stories with the inside of our stories of a building that would be inside of us, with hallways and rooms, and all of those would be inner spaces, which every doorway could be a portal of some sort.
Right. And see, when I access the records, that's how I see people. I don't open a book and read it. That's not how it looks for me. And I know every reader is different when they enter the Akashic realms, but for me, it's always different with every person. It's not always the same, but a lot of times it's like the same place, just a different map. I don't know how else to explain it because we're all
Different
so
floor
individual.
plan.
Right. But when what you were saying was like, oh, yes, that's right. So when I go and read the records, I really feel like that is an energy portal of some kind. Although we're going to a different dimension, it's still an access point. It still, to me, would be like a vortex of some kind. It's like putting a pin on a map and I want to go to that destination. And then with your mind, you're there. And I feel like it's the same way when we're in these energetic spaces. We're in a physical space. But say, for instance, when people have missing time, where did they go? Or just like when I had my NDE, like what space was I really in?
Mm.
Like those to me are sacred places or portals of some kind.
Definitely, it feels like birth and death are both portals, like shifting from one space to another. They
Hmm.
talk about in death, like the going towards a white light or a tunnel. That's a movement, obviously, through a spatial thing like that. And
Yeah.
then we're definitely, when we're birthed, we go through a portal from a different world, a water world, through a portal here.
Right. Isn't that amazing? I didn't even like that didn't even enter my noggin. Like when we are talking, we bring up this topic, you guys wanted to talk about it. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, we're going to talk about Sedona and we're going to talk about Mount Shasta and we're going to talk about ley lines because that's really cool and vortexes and but it's so much more to that.
Hmm.
And there, it's so multifaceted. We could go in so many different directions, but um uh have you ever heard of like Guardians of the Gates? It's something I want to like research a little bit more. People, it's coming to my awareness more and more, but they're like very sacred spaces and angelic guardians that protect these spaces.
Mm.
That's all I know about it. I don't know much more about it.
I
But
do. I do know about the different working with the different guardians of the directions, the four
yeah, there's like
directions.
12 stargates supposedly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they're all over the world. And they happen to be in places that are considered to hold powerful ley lines and vortex points. Sedona would be one of them.
Well, we have movies that represent those types of things, and I've heard stories of people that can get into, like, that have been in the pyramid and in that room that
Mhm.
they the sarcophagus is, and saying that that is a portal that will take you to another dimension.
Yeah, that would be beam me up.
Take me somewhere.
I will never say any place is better than this because I don't know that to be true. But it would be interesting to explore, right? And I think that humans, we're just naturally curious, and that's what draws us to these places because people want to feel something extraordinary. They want to have an experience that they can't explain because they want something to hold on to, like a hope or a possibility.
Right,
And and these places, most of them claim to be transformational for your human journey. They awaken you spiritually or they open your eyes to new possibilities. People literally will do a 180 in their personality. Or there's even been known stories where people go to these places and are completely physically healed from ailments. So
right.
it's just it's just profound. Like there's so many things on this planet that we just cannot explain. And it's always been that way. And it goes beyond energy, it goes beyond the paranormal or any anomalous thing. It's so much bigger than us. And then also, if you look at it from the point of view that we're all infinite and we're all one and we're all connected to each other, that would make all of us portals, basically.
Yeah, I think we're all points of perspective feeding back to the greater consciousness, doing what we're doing and sending it towards the greater consciousness. I
Yeah.
want to Can we talk about mirrors a little bit?
You know what? I love that you want to talk about this because we have a dear friend. She's been on the show before, and she talks about mirrors all the time. How we need to cover our mirrors and cover our mirrors, and you shouldn't have two mirrors facing each other, especially in your bedroom with with the bed in the middle of it. but I do
On purpose.
on purpose.
I remember walking through, it was actually my
I
niece's
like
house,
mirrors in my
and
room.
walking up the stairs, and she had two mirrors facing each other, and I could feel the energy of that. Well, one of the practical things I wanted to talk about was, this is just even in design advice. People say put mirrors up because it makes the room bigger.
Mhm.
It adds space to the room,
Mm.
which it does.
It
And
really does.
I have a lot of mirrors in my house. I this house that moved into, that I've lived in, and there's old, when they used to put tiles, the mirrored tiles up on the wall to
Oh, yeah.
expand the space. I have some of those on my wall. And I was considering this. I thought, I want it, if I ever take those down, that room changes completely, shifts. And then it's always a reflection of the other side or somewhere else. So I think about, I really do. Yes, our dear friends, it's like, careful with your mirrors. Um, well, all mirrors or the antique ones. Have you ever gone into, this is one of the things that I don't like to look in the mirror. If I go and I wake up at night and go to the bathroom, I don't want to, and don't turn on the light. I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to see. I just don't want to see what
What
might
don't
come
you
out
wanna
as dark.
see?
I don't know.
What makes it different at night than during the
It's
day?
just dark, and so it's just, like, open to, I don't, it's a funny thing, the little known thing
Everything's
about Natalie that's like,
intentional.
it's not
Right, we
always
talk
that way, but
about
I just don't wanna see if there's any weird thing from some horror movie that wants to show up in my mirror at night.
like Candyman. That show freaked me out so bad when I was young. I think it came out when I was in high school. That was crazy. I haven't
Mhm.
seen it since, and I don't watch shows like that anymore, so
You bring that stuff in.
I'm just a baby.
I don't like to watch horror movies anymore either. Like, I don't
Oh,
wanna have that in my thought process.
right, Casey? Oh, there was a bad case of that going around when I was in 4th grade. I know we all got
Oh,
in a lot of trouble for hanging out in the bathrooms
oh,
for that one.
yeah.
But yeah, mirrors, continue on.
So mirrors being um at a portal for energy. So this
Mhm.
energy is this, like we've talked about, sometimes it's unexplainable, but there is this, who's looking through that other side of the mirror, or there's two-way mirrors where someone could be looking, or if it's in another room. But that concept of portals, and the understanding that if there's an opening from something could come through the
Yeah,
mirror, or your energy could flow to another place.
right. And also, like, I've even heard, like, old folklore where, after a death, people would cover the mirrors to prevent the soul from getting stuck.
Yeah,
So there's that aspect also.
right. There's this, do you see that question? It was on there.
Not not yeah, I'm over on I'm over on a different platform. I was on Facebook looking at those. Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, I believe anything is possible, and I'm one of those weird people that believe stuff like that. Not that you're weird, I'm just saying it yeah, maybe
Well,
she's a little weird.
with that comment, there is this, how in the world do our phones become a two-way street? But they
Mm,
are, because the phones are listening and feeding information all the time these days. The predictive marketing, it's really fascinating. How did they hear
mhm,
something? All the different things with technology that have opened up a bunch of extra ones.
mm. Also, that just made me think, like, spiritually speaking or magic, as you were talking about, mirrors are an amplifier. Why do you think that is? Like mirrors are used a lot in magic or like spiritual practice.
Right. They scry, you can scry with a candle in a mirror. And then there's been reports or stories about people, if you have a mirror and you have a candle that you're looking at it, you have those things two together and you're looking at the candle and you got the mirror there, that people can have missing time or they can have um, visions
Oh,
that come through the mirror. Alice in Wonderland falls through a mirror, through the looking glass into this other world. There's that story about
mhm.
Alice in Wonderland. She falls through a mirror,
That's right.
which is the story of a portal.
That's such a great show. Did you know when you were a child how much meaning that show had? And I wonder
there's
whatever they were on when they wrote it. Like,
there's also that classic Lion Witch in the Wardrobe that
mm,
C.S. Lewis that I read when I was young. And
mhm.
there's a portal that goes through the back of the wardrobe. There's entrances into another world. We have these stories all over the place. I think a lot of our stories don't necessarily come from just imagination.
No.
They come from some aspect that's thrown in or put into a lore, and the
Mm,
stories get communicated. And not everybody goes looking for an entrance that goes into a back room or some other space, because not everybody wants to explore those things. They're like, I'm comfortable with my five senses world. I'm good with just the 3D thing. I don't want to go exploring too far and have my paradigm shifted too much.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just curious from our listeners, does anyone have a place, if you want to recommend a place where you had an experience that was similar or exactly what we're talking about for this show? Um, lay it out there. Lay it out there, I say, as ley lines. Tell us where these places are. Oh, what is that? The Green Children of Woolpit story.
I don't
Are you
know.
I don't know, but I'm gonna look it up. I have a long drive tomorrow. I have a lot of time to investigate. I
Called
love
it
that stuff.
Wool Pit. That sounds interesting.
Mhm.
Where does and then the stories about Bigfoot or Sasquatch, where do they go? Do they come in and out of different portals?
I believe they're interdimensional beings. I believe that with my whole heart. And they don't just live in the mountains and we just never see them maybe once in a great while. Like they are time travelers for sure.
Popping in and
They're
out of dimensions.
absolutely. That's what I feel. Do I have evidence? No. But if you guys ever watch Bigfoot Expedition, I know those kinds of shows, like, I don't really watch, but that one is interesting, especially because they stopped it because their cameraman went
Because of, yeah.
missing.
Mm,
And there's evidence they're not showing. I don't even feel comfortable talking about it on here because I don't know what I can say and not say. I don't know enough about this platform to know that, but I don't know. There's just so much we can't explain, you guys, but there's like so much evidence in front of us. And I don't know if someone is, um, if people are trying to flip the script on us, change the narrative, um, detour us, whatever it is, there are things that are unexplainable. Right,
mm,
Casey? It's such a great show. Um, but whether you believe the places are sacred or hold unique energies, people have humans have so much devotion around these areas, or they're just places that will like inspire us just because of their beauty and their history
mm.
and the stories that they tell. And I feel like no matter what or where, they just remind us that we're part of something much larger than ourselves. And, we named our show Earth's Forgotten Gateways, but is anything ever really forgotten? because we tell these stories over and over and over. And more people come out with their stories, the more comfortable they become when other people share their stories. That's why we like talking about these kinds of topics, because when we share, it gives you guys permission to share, gives you guys permission to open up and be like feeling safe enough to, talk about the things that aren't really necessarily talked about. I
Hmm.
mean, in our circles with our listeners and us, they're talked about, but in other circles, they're not so much. And I think that if we're we're open to possibilities, anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
So I was remembering working with another person that works energetically, and she definitely does a lot of work with portals. And she was working, I did a joint session with her and one of my clients, and she had the client have a violet flame. And a violet flame is a very healing, high level frequency to work with the violet flame. And she had her just establish this violet flame in her living room. And
Mhm.
so we talked about these places people go to shed the things that no longer serve them. But what she had this person do was to feed all the things that she no longer wanted to think about, or difficult memories or stuff. She said, just feed it to the flame. And so
Yes.
she spent some time just giving it to the portal, giving it to the violet flame. Well, we can do this in our own spaces. We don't have to travel anywhere, actually. But if you take this idea, people go for healing. So they go with the full intention of giving away what they don't want anymore. Give it away, give it away. We can do that. Little flames can be like a little candle, or we are minds, our imagination, our intention is so powerful. We
Mm,
don't have to carry anything that we're ready to get rid of. We can send it to the violet flame in the middle of your, and then when you're done, you can close it up and say thank you.
absolutely.
Send it. People ground will go to the earth. I think the earth itself is open like a portal to receive and recycle the energy that we don't want.
Yeah.
The grounding situation that said, look, our bodies can, we can open up the bottoms of our feet. I remember this was one of the early removal of negativity. I used to be so negative, and I'd have people say, look, just open up your bottoms of your feet. Just think about your feet opening up and dumping it all out, giving it to the earth.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love that also. I love working with candles with fire. I use flame a lot in my healing sessions, sending the energy to the flame. But one of my most powerful experiences and practice that I use regularly is our crystal grids. Like intentionally setting a grid with the energy of the crystals and the end meaning and the intention with the crystals, depending on what you're working with. Similar in the same way that you talk about the violet flame.
So it's purposeful, opening something up and then closing it down.
Yeah. It's all about intention. And regardless if there's history or stories around the places that you go to, everything is still intentional. So never forget that. You can
Never.
go there and have an expectation, but where is the expectation coming from? You guys are killing me in the chat.
They are. They're having a
Maria,
good time tonight.
yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, you guys pick great topics. We're really grateful for that. No, okay, so Maria is a feet to the earth kind of girl. Yeah, I knew that. I'm allergic to grass, but every once in a while. Isn't that crazy? That sucks.
That you're allergic to grass. You'd be like, so you
Yes.
just have to do it on bare ground?
Yeah, yeah. That's not how I ground though. I don't ground by standing in the grass like a
No,
lot of people do.
that's my
Now,
thing.
water, put my feet in water. Yes. Yes, I am allergic to cats also, Maria. That's true.
Oh, I'm not. I
No,
have
Natalie has like 20 cats.
I think my cats
She's the
sometimes can
neighborhood cat lady.
it's like I think sometimes cats can go through different portals. They
I
might
really believe that. Why do
communicate
they have 9
interdimensionally.
lives? That's a great topic. Like, why do they have 9 lives? Do they have one in every dimension? Because that
Maybe.
no one has 9 lives. What is that all about?
There's a lot of lores about cats. They are
Mhm.
fascinating species, and they really are for themselves. They really are really pretty selfish
They are
animals.
so selfish. That's why I don't want one. That's why I love dogs. Mhm.
Cats run interdimensionally, and Lord knows where they go. Like they could run off, and they go to another yard, and they're just gone. Or if you're ever looking for a cat, they can hide in crazy places.
I know. Like, I've had friends, like, I go to their house and they're, like, up on the top of the cupboards or, like, in this little nook and cranny, like, in the hallway. I don't know. They're just weird. I don't get cats. They're so strange. And
Yeah,
more people I know love cats than dogs. Like, I'm a dog person, but I don't I love the way that you guys love your cats. That's just great. I'm
I
not
just love my
talking.
yeah, love my animals I have, and it just happens to be cats at the moment.
If anyone wants a 17-year-old puppy or lady dog,
You would not give that dog up.
no, she's cute.
You just love her. Oh,
She's
so
all right.
there's one other thing that I was thinking about. Like, what if you love graveyards? So, do you are there portals there where we put people into spaces and
So there's graveyards and there's cemeteries, and I feel like they hold very different energies. Um, Graveyards, just so you guys know the difference, graveyards are attached to uh, like a spiritual landmark or a church or something like that,
hmm,
and then cemeteries are separate from that. And so I think just with the religious or spiritual aspect, there's something extraordinary in those places. Maria, I'm just going to keep calling you out. Maria took me to this place by Mammoth Cave. It was a graveyard, and we walked around, and there was an energy there that I don't know. There's just I believe there are energetic portals there just because um, not just the history, but I believe people possibly open up portals um, just by bringing the energy there or asking the energy to come through. And they don't understand what they're doing necessarily if they're not educated, and then they just leave them open.
hmm,
And so, Joplin Church, thank you. I was trying to remember the name of it. But there was something going on there. She wasn't kidding. She's like, we got to stop. And I was like, oh, cool. Yes, let's do it. It's a vibe. Like you could feel it on your skin when you go to
wow.
these places. It's like it's tangible. Like I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to come up with words and there just aren't any words in this moment. But um I have this fascination with cemeteries and graveyards. And it's not because like I'm drawn to death. I am curious. I'm curious. The energy when you step into these places, especially being so energy sensitive, it's not just like walking to a place. You get transported to a different time.
Hmm.
And then when you're reading the headstones or feeling what is happening tonight?
It was these just moved, so we just opened up some.
Fan
Yep.
that out.
Like, okay, we're
Guys,
gonna
this is wild.
move some energy here. That's fascinating.
Her smudging wand fell.
Yeah.
It's a
Just
selenite wand with feathers. Very interesting. Yeah, so I don't remember where I was at. This is wild
it,
that these
it
things
was
are happening, but you know, we we are capable of opening portals wherever we go. We leave traces of energy of ourselves wherever we go. And it's not just here on this timeline. We leave energetic blueprints wherever we go. No, they're not eagle feathers, they're turkey feathers. Um, so if you consider that, it's kind of similar to what we've talked about, I think last week or the week before, where, you know, you your energy matters. How you carry yourself, how you intentionally put yourself in places, the things that you say, the actions that you make, it all has an energetic blueprint.
Mhm.
And everything is a ripple effect. Everything. It's just so wild when it's just like too big for my head. It's just so much. And I'm like at the point now where everything is ineffable. I'm just like, I have no words. It's so
Anything's
cool.
possible. We'll just like experience whatever it is we're experiencing. And
Right.
going to those places feeling like you were talking about, feeling the energy on your skin.
Yes. It really I really have felt that in so many places.
I remember
And I
going
know
to it.
you guys have too, like goosies or just your skin like has it you can just
Mhm.
feel an energy to it.
Mhm.
Or you have a physical sensation of any kind. Even just with your breath or your heart or your mind going blank or spinning or there's just so much energy is so amazing. I would love to be a scientist in another lifetime.
As it
Not my
is, you're
calling.
the investigator in this one.
Yeah, I'm the investigator in this one. What a fun show. Thanks everyone for your participation. Do you have anything left to share, Natalie, before we
No,
close up?
I think this was an enjoyable conversation, meandering like we were doing.
Beautiful. Love it. You guys are so much fun. Thank you for hanging out with us in the chat. Just as a reminder, we will not have a show next week because I'll be out of town. We'll be back here on the 22nd of July. We'll pick the topic that week. And I hope that you all are having a great summer so far. Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Be safe out there. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Have a good one.
Good night, everyone.